Generously supported by the Multicultural Festivals and Events program of the Government of Victoria, Gathering of the Gamelans presents 8 Australian-based gamelan groups with different backgrounds such as Javanese, Balinese, Sundanese, Cirebon, and Lampung.
Today we're having the gathering of the gamelans, so we've got 8 different gamelans coming together from all over Victoria, representing traditions from 5 different parts of Indonesia. So we're starting in the west of Indonesia, we've got Lampung, Talo Balak from Lampung, we have Kecapi Suling from West Java for Sundanese music, we have Putra Panji Asmara from Cirebon, we have Mugi, Rahayu and Melbourne Community Gamelan representing Central Java. We have 3 groups from Bali. We have members of Mahindra Bali playing with the Gamelan DanAnda orchestra, and we also have a rindik group made up by different members of the community. I think there's a lot of Australians out there with a deep connection to Indonesia, and gamelan is actually a beautiful platform for people to genuinely engage. So we have Indonesian people, we have people like me who have a deep connection to Indonesia already, and we have people who just love the music, so they all come together to play gamelan music. It's just a beautiful way for people to connect with Indonesia.
It's a beautiful day here in Melbourne, Australia, and today is even more beautiful because we are witnessing more than 100 community musicians representing 8 Australian-based gamelan groups performing Indonesian traditional music in front of Australian audience. And it's so beautiful just to see how dedicated they are to gamelan music, something that to be proud of as an Indonesian. Eka Pudiono continues his father's legacy to preserve gamelan in Australia. She's the daughter of the late Ki Pudiono, Javanese dalang, musician, dancer, and gamelan teacher in Australia for over 45 years.
Okay, so this was a gamelan gathering, which I think initially we did it in 2002. My father was one of the instigators in this event. So my father came here in 1972 and started teaching here in Monash Uni and started to form a lot of gamelan groups, and he enticed Australians to learn more about gamelan and to become involved in it, and at the end, and as you can see from today's event, they developed the spirit of the gamelan. So that's something that was special to see from what my father started back in 1972. And I think the Australian community here is the ones that really understood the passion and the message behind gamelan. Be a community, to be many people emerging together as one.
Aryo, young gamelan figure in Australia's gamelan scene, highlighted the importance of this platform for keeping the interests of Australian younger generation in Indonesian culture.
I reckon I've been playing gamelan for over 20 years, maybe 22 years. I'm 27 now, and I reckon my mum and dad got me playing when I was about 4. I believe very strongly that we need to strengthen the relationship between Indonesia and Australia, because I feel like sadly it is something that, at least I'm an Indonesian teacher in a school and have been for a couple of years, and you see the decline in interest in Asian languages and culture in Australia. But I hope that events like this, especially like for example in the heart of Northcote like this, can help to start growing that interest again. And I do think that this is the way forward for that. I think culture is the way into language and connections.
According to Michael, a prominent figure in the Australian gamelan community, everyone has an entry point to engage with gamelan.
Well, I've been studying gamelan for probably about 40 years, something like that. I first started studying gamelan in California, then went to Indonesia and studied there, and pretty much every place I've lived when I've moved around the world, there's always been a gamelan group that I've been able to join. Since gamelan started being taught and studied and performed in different parts of the world outside of Indonesia, it's been really popular. So not only in Australia, but also in the United States and Japan and Europe and many different places. Part of the reason is that you can join in and start playing almost immediately with very minimal skill, but then there's room to learn more and more and to become very skilled. And there's also different things you can do that are really, really complicated and interesting. So it's sort of open to everybody. Everybody can kind of join in and almost immediately have fun and enjoy the music.
Michael believes that this kind of deep-rooted cultural community will strengthen the bond between Indonesia and Australia.
It definitely helps to strengthen that relationship because a lot of people, maybe people in Australia might get introduced to gamelan for the first time here in Australia, but then they really enjoy it and they want to go to Indonesia and study, or it could be the other way around. They're traveling in Indonesia, they hear some gamelan and they come back and suddenly realize there's gamelan groups here in Australia they never knew about and would join them. And then as people play more and travel back and forth and teachers from Indonesia come to Australia, it just builds more and more relationships.
Cultural diplomacy, though informal in nature, has effectively dismantled barriers and established profound roots, forging a deep connection between Indonesian and Australian cultures. Mochamad Andri, reporting for C Today, Melbourne.